Today I want to share with you a little more about the artist who drew this absolutely astounding rendition of the Tower of Babel that you've probably seen all over the place. I know I've showed it several times and many other channels have. It's just a magnificent vision of Babel, whatever that was. And we probably see pieces of it all over the place, but that's a side point. But I wanted to introduce you to the artist who created this artwork because I found some other drawings of him from i666 Rome. Lievin Cruyl. Amazing artwork, absolutely phenomenal perspective, and he made a book with views of Rome from i666, which I translated a certain part of, so you have to take a look at that. That's the second part of this video. I actually did that whole part of the video and then had to come back because I came across these. These are artworks that he did of the construction of the Pont Bridge in France, and these are amazing construction images. They're not photos, again, they're artwork, but they're so elaborate that it'll be tough to recreate, to fake this. But look at these, and you can see this bridge today. It looks just like that, and this is the kind of he details the process of them creating it through these artworks. I haven't found all of them. I think these were given away are sold at auction somewhere. That's how I ended up coming across some of them, and Wikipedia had a version of this as well. But wow, look at the process that they do it, and there's so much wood, there's so many different things there, and this just kind of throws an interesting element into the realm of our thought that we see. I mean, you have all these buildings around that are magnificent, absolutely astounding, and there wasn't a bridge bridging the gap between them. So I find that a little interesting, but and maybe I really don't know anything about this. I just came across this afterwards, so maybe we'll dive into it in the future. And if anyone's in France that knows anything about this, let me know. I am fascinated by it. This is a drawing of it completed, and then I'll show you a couple pictures of it as well. But look at all those buildings. Paris, oh my God, what a place. Something there, some amazing discovery has to be made there. Someone dig somewhere and find something incredible. Find a treasure trove of just historical mastery from what these buildings are, what the base truly is of them, how deep does it go. But look at all that effort from those drawings that you see in making that and piecing it together perfectly, and very well planned out, a lot of people. A lot of amazing things. This one's a little light. I'm not sure exactly what this is, but that tower is phenomenal. This guy died in Gent. He was, I believe, a Flemish, kind of had just amazing, from that era of phenomenal artists. In this picture, wow, look at it. The process of building a bridge or something, dismantling a star fort, just doing anything. I have no idea what is going on in these artworks, but they are phenomenally detailed. And now I'm going to show you Italy in i666 with this amazing translation with the God and artist connection. So here you go. Enjoy. Came across another old book and an amazing page that just had to be translated. Sometimes when you see something, you just cannot let it not be translated. And it's in a book of amazing artwork from Rome in, I believe, the i680s. And this artwork is phenomenal. Again, I am just always hooked and finding new and more detailed, amazing artwork and wondering how they did it. How big were the originals that they were able to get such impeccable detail? And did they have methods? Tracing, camera lucida, camera anything, something we don't even know, obscura, something totally different, new methods, ways of just graphing it out. Did they do it by eye and just practice? Or who knows? What were the methods? I have no idea, but check out this translation of this full page from this book with amazing art. And it says, "The wisdom of the master of things, as is evident from the sacred oracles, most blessed Father, delighted every day in arranging all things and playing in the world." I love that. That is, making great works and new ones, drawing admirable spectacles of bodies. You, when you endure the turns of this man in controlling the world, also imitate the works of the enlightened in the city. Therefore you think it not unworthy of such a height of dignity to be delighted with that composition of sublime images which befits the wisdom of the artist and represents the majesty divinely played. I don't think anyone's ever said that better. Amazing. So, I should not be so much afraid as I should be if I were to bring to your most blessed feet suppliant these figures, expressed on larger papyrus, of the notable buildings and prominent views of Rome, when above all these miracles of art are almost all of your genius, ennobled by work in a strange way, as that spirit you seem to have added a soul. Therefore yours stand by you. But this very thing is my fear, that I should not have ventured to outline these works worthy of heavenly renown, or deform, however, your singular and truly pontifical humanity, which, looking down upon the humble manner of God, is not disdained to be reproached with these labors. And I vow to your beauty the eternity of the glory which you deserve by your works, your holiness, the most humble and ferocious addict. And that is just a perfect way of describing art and the artist, in taking in things from this realm. That this is clearly, this artist is viewing these works, these architectural works, as not of human form, as of God form. And that again goes with the superior race, that at one point there was an amazing, outstanding race of potentially God-like beings that were capable of creating such precision, such immaculate layouts that barely shift in the ground, that are just so perfectly level and have just stood the test of time that we don't even know how long they are. We don't know what was once on top of it, what they were once painted with, the metals, the powers of the obelisk, of the tools, the ether connecting devices on the top. We have no idea how they heated them, how they had piping or water into them, or what they did, or how deep they go. They are amazing. They are astounding. And these artists take these things that were here in this world, and they try to represent them in ways that is just, is the best they can. And it's in its own way, it becomes a creation of the divine and a representation of it. And trying to figure it out, just look at these streets, look how flat they are. They're just abnormally flat. And it looks like you could just keep that drawing going down. If you were to keep all those buildings going down, each one of them could be huge. The steps could go so deep, so much. And they can't help but find these takes of people, and that's why I had to translate this one, because you could just tell that just by instinct that these were done on big pieces of paper. The watercolor ink technique is beautiful, and that these buildings were they were designed to, these artworks were designed to show this architecture and show that it is divine and show that it's magnificent. And what the heck was happening in Rome during I666 or 69, whatever this was, what year this really was, how far ago from today all this was. Was it 1600, or was this 300 years ago? I don't think so. Was it 1,000 years ago? Possibly. Was it even more? Possibly. We have no idea. And when these things were created, when they were drawn, is a totally different beast. If the stories have not continued, nothing was left over almost at a certain time, except to think that these were divine from gods, from the creators, that these were here from the beginning almost, or that they were just here from an ancient race that nobody knows of. Is just an astounding concept. And how could you not draw them? But how could you live in a time like this and not want to just stand there and admire these, especially if you had no idea, if you were seeing the homes that you lived in, or the homes that you were able to build, and the things that were happened after the reset in a distant time from when these buildings were made. How could you not want to look at them and draw and look at these statues and sculptures on them and the intricate details and want to be an artist? I don't know. Maybe that's just me, because I am one, that it makes me think that. But I don't know. All of these things, the inspiration of them, the church, the going to Europe when I was young, all so incredibly inspirational. Seeing Rome, seeing Venice, and not even seeing it in this way, seeing it in the way that it is now, with the crowds, the traffic, the signs, the commercialism, the industrialism, so different, and you still get so inspired. But to see it at this point in time, when these artworks were being done, and just the air, the everything around it, drinking the fresh water from the ancient fountains that actually wasn't polluted at that point, and the air that was fresh, and the food that was probably grown right in the hills out there that were with pure water, with pure everything, before the soil was trashed, while the soil was healthy. And it still pales in comparison to when these buildings were made, in the time that these were designed for. What we see is humans, the pygmies, the workers, the worker bees in a place where the guards, the owners, have left, and we don't really know what to do with it. We don't really know how to utilize this stuff. And that's what it looks like. These doors are huge, and the people in them are not. And there's so much around, and so much immaculate things, and these people are in horse and carriage. And there's no way that all this was created with horse and carriage. You could never take all of these materials out there. So what was this like in the time when these buildings were made, when they were being constructed? The workers, what were they like? Were they machines? Were they giant? Were they different? Were they building foundations that go so deep? Is this just like the top of it now? I always wonder when I see cemeteries, and some of them, if the tombs that you see on the top were once the tops of the buildings, the tops of the walls, and then they just filled it in, and if you were to go deeper, you'd find a lot more. I'm always wondering that about the golf courses as well, but trying to envision them if you were to just go deep. All of these things, if you were to just see them below. And that's what needs to happen. Someone just needs to take just have the ability or get the permission and permits to be able to dig under this and find the true origin of some of these buildings. Like, do it now in a time, start a new archaeological trend, and get some workers on some of these things, and with enough proof so we're not just destroying things. Like, check out some places. I think that's where the future holds. There's so much to be discovered, and we need to step it up, because we need to find these things, and they cannot be censored by the Smithsonian or by other sources anymore, of people who are afraid it will devalue their other research or someone else's research, or you can't do it. That time has to end. Truth cannot be stopped. That's the only way we'll ever figure out any of these answers to these things, because we are so many generations off from the true creators, and so many destroyed historical sessions and rewrites of history and everything, that we really are in a point where we either have to guess, or we have to use our imaginations and go to different realms and entheogenic thought processors to discover this stuff, or we have to find where the answers lie, and they must. Some of the controllers must have some of the answers, some of the lost, unseen books that tell of what was really here, show different pictures of maybe people building these at a certain point in time. I'm sure if they were able to build this, they were able to create art just as good as this, as the pygmies, as the workers, as the chattel, and they were most likely also able to have film of some sort, some kind of image creating device. Maybe that's what those old paintings are. Maybe those are from an even more distant time that we can't even fathom. That's why they look so fantastical some of the time. Who knows? So much mystery out there. I don't claim to know anything. I'm just tossing stuff out there, seeing what sticks and seeing what you all think. If you're from Rome and you've seen some amazing things, or been part of any of those archaeological digs and found something that wasn't discovered or wasn't told or wasn't recorded, and chime in the comments below. Get in touch with us. Get some stuff out there. It's time to just blow the whistle on all of this. Whoever knows, enough is enough. What are we afraid of? These people, it's history. It's ancient history, but yet it has so much meaning to our present, and so much power can be grasped from discovering our potential, discovering the truth of where we came from, and discovering what happened on this planet. And it helps lead us to discover why we are here now, how we got here, and all of that helps. It's not just nonsense about the past. It's very important, but there's no reason to fear it. So I can't see why any whistleblowers would ever be ashamed to bring it out, because I think we all need it. Once it comes out, once we discover the missing links to some of these connections that they've been steering us away from for a long time, I think humanity will unite in a beautiful way, and there's no end to what we will discover, and I hope it is beyond the poles. Bless you all.